once again to your YouTube channel ENC Achievement. The previous episode we had a discussion on, and then Gandhi came from the unit Words and Deeds. Now we are going to concentrate on a story, The Price of Flowers. The name of the story is The Price of Flowers, written by Prabhat Kumar Mukhopadhyay. Prabhat Kumar Mukhopadhyay. He has written the story The Price of Flowers. Let us know something about Prabhat Kumar Mukhopadhyay. He was born in 1873 and was died in 1932. Was one of the best short story writers in Bengali literature. So remember, actually Bengal has produced another Nobel Prize winner, Rabindranath Tagore also. He was also a novelist. So Prabhat Kumar Mukhopadhyay was not only a best short story writer, but also was a novelist. His short stories are mainly based on real life situations, and his characters belong to the middle class families and their hopes. Middle class families' characters' hopes and aspirations, their desires, joys, happiness, and sorrows, their sadness, are woven finely into his stories. You see, actually the stories of Prabhat Kumar Mukhopadhyay is mainly mixing up the ordinary characters or middle class family members, their hopes and aspirations, joys and sorrows are woven finely into his stories. So The Price of Flowers is a very fine story which is talking about really the human emotions and the fulfillment of the words and everything. Now, let us listen to some of the difficult words which come in the chapter or in the story itself. So aggravate here means make the situation very bad. So worsen, W-O-R-S-E-N. Aggravate means make something very bad or worsen. Then beseech here means need something very much. So I am desiring strongly or emotionally for something to be possessed. That is beseech, seek after. Entreaty means emotional request. Entreaty. You will come across these words during the story. Entreaty means emotional request. Then Lampath. Lampath is really what we call it as a suburb of London city. A suburb of London city, that is Lampath. Lampath is the name of a place which is lying in the suburb means outer reach of London city. Then music. Music here means printed notes of music on a book is called music. That is what. Now we are going to start the story. So let us see the bonds. Bonds means the connection of human relationships are very strong. Human relations, the bonds of that means the mixing of human relationships are very strong. They are so complex also. When we go to analyze the relationship existing among the people, that is very difficult for us to explain. Complex, that is why it seems very difficult for us to explain. Complex opposite is simple, very easy to explain, but complex, that is very difficult for us to explain. Words and deeds. Again, the title of this unit is also repeated. Words and deeds have a soothing effect, very harmonious effect, and they cement, they strong, they strengthen the relation, that means the connection of relationship. So words and deeds have a soothing effect, and this soothing effect strengthen. Cement means strengthen the relations, the mixing up of relationship. So here is a story about the impact of the words. Let us go for the story. The price of flowers. Prabhat Kumar Mukhopadhyay. It was nearly 1 o'clock and I was feeling extremely hungry. So I made my way to a vegetarian restaurant which was not far away in St. Martin's Lane. Lunch hours in London restaurants were not so crowded in those days. You see, very important. The story begins. The atmosphere of the background. The time is 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock is very good. Between 12:30 and 1:30. It's a time of hungry. They wanted to have lunch. And the narrator feels extremely hungry because it was 1 o'clock. So he made his way to a vegetarian restaurant, not a non-vegetarian restaurant. He went to a vegetarian restaurant which was not far away, not in a long distance, in St. Martin's Lane. So the name of the street, that is a lane, Martin's Lane. So lunch hours usually in London restaurants were not so crowded. Only some people will be visiting and having their lunch on those days, in those days. I found not more than 3 or 4 hungry people scattered around the room. You see, in the restaurant room, the narrator found not more than 3 or 4 hungry people just scattered around the room. And the narrator, chose a table, seated himself, and opened the newspaper just before his lunch comes. A waitress, a servant or a waitress, in London they will call us a waitress, a woman, came up and waited politely for the narrator's order. What does he want to eat for his lunch? Ordering whether it is a chicken biryani or mutton biryani or meal or whatever it is. I raised my eyes when the waitress came. By the time the narrator was reading the newspaper, then he raised up his eyes from the paper and glanced at the menu. What are the items available in the vegetarian restaurant? And told her what he required. He told the waitress, I need this for my lunch. Thank you, sir, the waitress replied. She said and went very fast and noiselessly away. She went without making any sound. At that moment, my attention was drawn to a table not far from mine. A young English girl was sitting there. She had been watching me with interested surprise, but turned her eyes away as soon as I looked at her. You see, when the waitress went for taking what the narrator ordered for his lunch, he noticed there nearby the table a girl was looking at him with the interested surprise. But when the narrator started looking at her, she turned her eyes away. Let us see what is happening, or what is the relation between this girl and the narrator. The girl was 13 or 14 years old. Just 13 or 14 years old. Her clothes betrayed her poverty. You see, she was dressed very nicely, which did not reveal the pathetic condition or the poverty of the girl. Her hair hung in a heavy stream down her back. The hair appearance of the young girl is described her. Her eyes were large eyes. They had a sad expression. She was not looking very happy. A sadness was there in her expression. I watched her. The narrator watched the girl when she was not looking, so that she would not notice. So when the girl was not putting notice on the narrator, he just tried to look at the girl. My lunch was served as she was finishing hers. You see, when the girl was finishing her lunch, his lunch was served. The waitress brought her the bill. By the time when the girl finished her lunch, the waitress brought the bill and handed the bill over to her. The bills are paid at the desk. As one goes out, near the exit, there was the paying desk. The desk is near the door of the exit. The girl stood up. She was sitting and eating. Now she stood up. The narrators, my eyes followed her. He was looking at where she was going. As she paid her bill, she paid her bill of the lunch. She asked the cashier, the one who is collecting the cash, the bill cash, she asked the cashier in a low voice, please, miss, can you tell me if that gentleman is an Indian? Actually, the girl, after having paid the bill of her lunch, she asked in low voice, please, miss, can you tell me if that gentleman is an Indian? The cashier answered, yeah, I think so. He is an Indian. Another question, does he come here all the time? The girl asked, does that man always come to this restaurant? The cashier is telling, perhaps not always. And I don't recall, I don't remember having seen him before. I haven't seen that man before. I don't know anything about that one. So here actually the relation which is going, a conversation which is going between the girl and also the cashier. Actually, the girl is very curious about that man and she wanted to know whether he is an Indian. So when the cashier told the girl, said the girl, thank you, and looked at me once more with a startled, surprised emotion, and she went out of the restaurant. So when the girl looked at the narrator with a startled air, with a shocking expression, it surprised me. I was surprised by the look of the girl. Why? He is asking, thinking, why? What was the matter? Her interest in me aroused my interest in her. When the girl started showing interest in the narrator also grew up an interest in the girl. When I had finished my lunch, I asked the waitress, do you know the girl who was sitting over there by the side of the table? The waitress is telling, no sir, I don't know her. But if I wanted to speak something, I have noticed she has lunch here on Saturdays. So every Saturday she will be coming over here for her lunch. Then the narrator is asking the waitress, doesn't she come on any other day? Only Saturday she will be coming, not on any other day? The waitress replies, I never see her on other days. No, on other days I don't see. But she comes here only for lunch on Saturdays. Then the narrator is asking the waitress, have you any idea who she is? Hello waitress, do you know who she is? Do you have any idea about her, who she is? Then the waitress replies to the narrator's question, perhaps she works in a nearby shop. Sometimes she may be working in a nearby shop here. The narrator asked, how do you know? The waitress says, Saturday is a payday. Actually, every Saturday, the employees will get to their salary. Payday. Their work cash will be given to them. That is when she comes. So that is why every Saturday she comes here for her lunch, because Saturday is the payday of each and every employee there. On other days, She may not be able to afford, she cannot give money for her lunch. Afford lunch means cannot spare money for lunch. Perhaps she does not earn very much and her salary is very less. She does not earn much money. I was moved by what the waitress said. When the waitress said that, I became very emotional. I was moved, I became emotional. The curiosity, the excitement I felt about the girl persisted, made some impact on me. I started thinking, who was the child? Why had she inquired about me? Why that girl inquired about me? Was stricken, sad, an anxious figure took possession of my thoughts. You see, those grave feelings attracted the attention of the narrator. On Sundays, all London shops are closed, holiday. Sundays, all London shops are closed. So I set out. So I started my journey to look for the little girl. Her means little girl. After breakfast on Monday morning, because Sundays are our holidays. So after the breakfast, the narrator started looking for the girl on Monday morning. I looked into the shops on the streets near at Martin's Lane. The restaurant is somewhere in the Martin Lane. And especially the shops on the Strand. Shops which were situated here and there. But I found no trace of the girl. I could not find where she was. The week passed. Saturday came again. I presented myself at the vegetarian restaurant once more, with the hope that the girl will be coming here on Saturday for her lunch, since Saturday is the payday for her. As I entered, I saw her sitting at the same table as before. She was sitting at the same table as before. She was also eating. I walked up and took the chair opposite to the girl, saying, "Hey, good morning." "Good morning, sir," the girl responded hesitantly, not very willingly. By making one brief remark after another, I was able slowly to start a conversation. After that, the narrator initiated a conversation between the girl and himself. At last she asked, "Are you an Indian?" "Yes." "Excuse me, are you a vegetarian?" Actually, she wanted to know about the narrator because she had some pre-notions about the Indians. That is why she first asked, "Are you an Indian?" The narrator told, "Yes, I'm an Indian." Then she asked the second question, "Are you a vegetarian?" Then let us see what he is telling. The narrator did not respond to the second question of the girl, "Are you a vegetarian?" But he asked another question. "Why do you ask that?" The girl responded, "I have heard that most Indians are vegetarians." "How is it that you know anything about India?" Then the narrator asked, "How do you know about India and Indians?" Then the girl says, "My elder brother is in India. He is a soldier in India." Then the narrator giving answer to the second question, "I am not much a vegetarian." "Are you a vegetarian?" "I am not much a vegetarian. I answered her question, but I enjoy a vegetarian meal." Surely, I am not a vegetarian, but I enjoy a vegetarian meal now and then, not regularly. After some gap, the girl seemed disappointed. So when the narrator told that he is not a vegetarian, but he enjoys a vegetarian meal now and then, the girl appeared very much disappointed. I learned that her only guardian was this elder brother. She lived with her old widow mother. So from the conversation, the narrator came to the conclusion that her only one guardian was that elder brother who works as a soldier in India, and she lived with her widowed mother. That means she has no father. Father had been expired. Do you hear from your brother? The narrator asked. Okay, your brother works as a soldier in India. Did you get any phone call or any letter or a telegram from your brother? Then the girl responds to the question of the narrator. We have not heard a letter from him for a long time. For a long time, they did not receive a letter from her brother. My mother is very worried, very much worried because of not getting a letter from her son. People tell her that India is full of tigers and snakes and fevers. She is afraid something has happened to him. Is it true, sir, that India is full of tigers and snakes and fevers? You see, very genuine and innocent question, because both this girl and her mother, they have heard about India, that India is the land full of tigers and snakes and fevers, and they for a very long time haven't received a letter from this son, and the girl is very anxiously asking, is it really true? Then the narrator, by hearing this one, he told her, no. I smiled. The narrator smiled. How could people live there if India is the land of tigers and snakes and fevers? How can people live there? The girl sighed softly. Oh, then it is okay. She was getting a kind of a relief. Then she says, mother says she would like to ask an Indian about these things, if she can find an Indian. The girl looked at me with eyes full of entreaty. Entreaty here means emotional request. Emotional request. Actually, so her mother wanted to meet an Indian, and she wanted to ask such things. She wanted to clarify her doubt whether India is the land full of snakes, tigers and fevers. And the girl's eyes were looking at him with the entreaty, with the emotional request, could you please come to my house? At least she can speak to you and she will get relief, mental relief from her doubt. I understood how she felt. She wanted to see her mother, but she did not have the courage to ask me to go with her home, to her home. A keen desire to meet this poor, anxious mother took hold of me. I had not had the opportunity to visit an impoverished English home. You see, he was very much surprised. Such impoverished, very poor families are at the suburb of London city. I wish to see how the poor lived in this country, to know what they think. So actually, the girl wanted interiorly, that means inside her mind, she wishes that the narrator should come with her to her home. And also the narrator understood his desire to go and meet impoverished English home. Then the narrator asked the girl, will you introduce me to your mother sometime? So I am ready to come. Will you introduce myself to your mother? Would you like me to accompany you home? You want me to come to you with you to your home? I can go someday. I'm ready to come someday. The girl's eyes brimmed with gratitude. So when the narrator just informed his desire to go to the girl's mother and speak to, her eyes were brimmed with, she was showing a kind of gratitude. Thanks. Thank you ever so much, she said. It is so kind of you. So you are very kind. Can you come now? She asked straight away, can you please come now? Then the narrator is telling, with pleasure, I am happy now itself to come. It will not interfere with anything else you have it to do. I think you don't have any other busy appointments or work now. No, no, not at all. No, I'm free. This afternoon is entirely my own. I'm free this afternoon. The girl was delighted. The girl was very happy. We finished our lunch and got up together. See, they are finishing their lunch and trying to make their way home to the girl's home in order to meet the mother of the girl. And the mother wishes too much to talk to to talk to an Indian, and she can just clarify her doubts. That is what. So they finished their lunch and they got up and started their journey to the girl's house. Now let us see. As we walked, so now they are on their way to the girl's house. While they were walking, the narrator asked, "May I know your name?" "My name is Alice Margaret Clifford," the girl told the narrator. "My name is Alice Margaret Clifford." She asked the narrator, "Would you mind walking? Do you feel any difficulty in walking to my home?" "Not at all," the narrator answered. "If it is not difficult for you," then he is asking another, "do you feel mind walking to your home?" The girl answers, "No, I walk home every day. It is not this particular day. Every day I walk home." I asked the girl, "Do you come this way often? Do you most of the time come this way?" "Yes," she answered, "I come this way most of the time. I work as a typist in the civil service. You see, I am working as a typist in the civil service stores. Every afternoon, I come home this way. Today is Saturday, so I am off yearly." So since Saturday is a payday and Sunday is a holiday, the girl became free early, and that is why she is telling about. Then the narrator is asking, "Shall I call you Miss Clifford or Alice?" The narrator is asking, "What should I call you? Whether shall I call you Miss Clifford or Alice?" Then the girl is telling, "I am not grown up yet. I am a young girl, 13 or 14. You may call me what you like. You can call me what name you like. I am usually called Maggie. Actually, people ordinarily call me Maggie." She laughed. "Are you very anxious to grow up?" The narrator is asking, "Do you want to be a grown-up girl?" Then the girl says, "Yes." "Why do you want to be a grown-up girl? Tell me why." "When I grow up," the girl replies to the question, "when I grow up, I shall be paid more. My salary will be very high for my work. My mother is very old. Is the work you do to your liking?" The author, the narrator is asking, "Do you now practice the work you are doing as to your wish?" Then she is telling, "The work I am doing as a typist is not as to my wish. The work is very mechanical. Typist work is just like a mechanical. But I want work that will make me use my head, my brain work. Like the work of a secretary. I like that job. But as a typist, like a mechanical job, I don't like." We crossed to the bridge. So on the way they had a bridge to cross. They crossed to the bridge and arrived in Lambeth. So try to understand, Lambeth is really a underdeveloped suburb of London city. St. Martin's Lane, that is a vegetarian restaurant, was situated. They walked and came to a underdeveloped suburb, outer area of the London city, that is called Lambeth. Let us see here. So we crossed to the bridge and arrived in Lambeth. It is a poor neighborhood. It is a poor, underdeveloped area. If I ever become a secretary, so now she is telling, if she becomes a secretary, Maggie said, I shall take my mother away from this underdeveloped area. Then he is actually asking a question, the girl. Did your father call you Maggie or Maxie? When he was very affectionate, when my father was very loving and affectionate, he called me Maxie, Maxie. How did you know? And then the girl very surprisingly asked the narrator, how did you know about that my father called me Maxie? Yes, yes. The narrator answered mysteriously. We are intense. You know, we know about the future and all kinds of magic. That is what I have heard, she said. Oh, indeed. I was surprised. He was very much surprised. What have you heard? Then the girl is telling, I have heard that there are many people in India who have occult powers. Occult powers. OCCULT. Occult powers means magical powers. They are called yogis. Yogis. But you are not a yogi. The girl is telling, you are not a yogi. Then the narrator is asking, how do I know that I am not a yogi, Maggie? So he called Maggie. How do I know that I am not a yogi? That is a very interesting thing. Now let's go for what is the response of our Maxie or Maggie, Margaret Clifford. So that is a very interesting thing. Now let us see. She is replying very emotionally. Yogis do not eat meat. They are vegetarians, not non-vegetarians. How can a yogi eat meat? Oh, now the narrator came to the conclusion. Is that why you asked me in the beginning whether I am a vegetarian or not? Now she smiled without answer. That means, okay, that was the same situation. We had reached a narrow doorway. So finally, after walking, they have reached a narrow doorway. Maggie took a thin latch key out of her pocket, a latch key, and opened the door. She entered and said, the narrator, please come in. Please come in. When I was inside the cabin, Maggie closed the door. She went to the foot of the stairs. Steps are there. And raising her voice a little up, called, Mother, where are you? Then there is a voice. Mother is not in the scene. There is a voice of the mother. I am in the kitchen, child. The answer came from below. Come down. Come down. Okay, let us see. This is the time to wind up this session. And we will see what happened when there is a mother sound telling them, the daughter, and also an Indian who came as a guest to speak to the mother. Let us see what will happen in the next class. I hope you have benefited out of this class. Please watch again and again and answer the read and respond to questions. We will come to you with all these things. And if you have benefited, don't forget to share and subscribe and spread this message to your friends. Wish you all the best. Thank you.